Hello and welcome back to our Algebra 2. Today we are going to be moving on, but rather instead of jumping into unit number 3, lesson number 3, which is absolute values, equations, and inequalities, I think it's an important step to just go back and review real quick before we start trying to solve absolute values, that we first remind ourselves how do we solve just regular linear equations. So today actually we're not going to be so much worried about absolute values. We're going to be looking at how to solve regular equations. So that is the goal today. Can we just solve regular linear equations? Some of these you might know. We can go kind of quick. At any point you can need to pause, rewind, go back. Please do so. We'll try to get through these couple problems. I believe I have 4 of them. We'll get through them nice and quick. So our first problem, we have negative 24 minus 6n equals negative 4. Now the goal always is to get the variable by itself. We want to solve for the variable, but we want to try to get that variable n by itself. So the first thing I want to do is get this whole term, this minus 6n, by itself. To do so, I'm going to get rid of that negative 24. To get rid of negative 24, I'm going to add 24 to both sides. I'm going to add that 24 to both sides. And in doing so, the 24's cancel out. Negative 6n on the left side. On the right side, you can grab your calculator. I'll do it with mine. We have negative 42 plus 24, and we have negative 18. Again, we want to get that variable by itself, so now I'm going to divide both sides by negative 6. Reason I'm dividing now is that negative 6 and that n, they're connected through multiplication. So to get rid of multiplication, we divide. And for our final answer, we get n equals 3. It is a good practice to take that 3 and plug it back into double check. I'll leave you to do that on your own, but we'll go ahead and move on to the next problem. Here, our next problem, very similar. We have now 2 variables though. We have a variable on both sides. So we still want to get the variable by itself. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move one of these variables, one of these x terms, to the other. Now it doesn't matter which way you go, you'll be correct no matter what. I personally like to try to keep the term positive, so for me, I am going to move that 9x to the left side. You could have done the other one, that's fine. So I'm going to move the 9x to the left side, and that same process, because I know I want to get the left side to have the x's, I want to move everything else to the right side. So I'm going to move that 2 to the right side. It was a plus 2. To get rid of it, I'm going to subtract 2. 14x minus 9x is 5x. 2's go away. 9x go away. Negative 3 minus 2 is negative 5. Still solving. I have 5x equals negative 5. I'm going to get rid of this 5 through division because right now those two are being multiplied together. Divide both sides by 5. We get x is negative 1. Again, feel free to stop, rewind, go through. I did do that problem quickly, but the goal there is to get the variables by themselves. Our next problem, a little bit different. We still have the variable, but now we have these parentheses. Now there's a couple of ways to go about it. You can either choose to distribute, so I can take that 2 and multiply it across, or I can choose to get rid of the 2 beforehand. Both ways will be correct. There is no right or wrong way. It is more so a preference way. I'm going to take the approach of, I'll distribute this time. I'll go ahead and distribute. So I'll distribute that 2 to both terms. That'll give me 6y minus 12. Distribute, I'm going to multiply it. Now this problem looks really similar to that first problem we had. We have a variable, we want to get it by itself, so I'm going to add that 12 to the other side. I'm going to do the opposite sign. I'm going to add that 12 over. It's going to leave me with 6y equals 36. Again, just get that y by itself. I'm going to do the opposite. Right now it's multiplied. I'm going to divide. And that's going to leave me with the final answer of y equals 6. You can go ahead and plug that into the original if you would like to check your work. But if you need to, go back. But let's do our final problem. It's going to sort of be a combination of a lot of the past things. Again, we have some parentheses. Personally, I like to distribute. It is personal preference, so I'm going to distribute. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times 3 is minus 6. And then I'm just going to write the rest of this equation. Now, a common mistake that happens is how do we combine these two x terms, the negative 2x and the positive 4x? A lot of students would like to do the opposite, but those two x terms, they're on the same side of the equal sign. They're both on the left side of that equal sign. They're both on this left side of the equal sign. Because they're on the same side of the equal sign, we are just going to do exactly what they say. So we're going to do negative 2x plus 4x. Negative 2 plus 4 is a 2x. And the same deal with the negative 6 and the negative 4. Because they're on the same side, I'm just going to combine them as they are. So negative 6 minus 4 is negative 10. And this whole thing still equals negative 14. And now it's an equation that looks like number 1. We want to get that variable by itself. Now we do the opposite, add 10. We do the opposite because we're going to the other side of that equal sign. Whenever we're moving to the other side of the equal sign, or that vertical line here that I'm drawing, whenever you're crossing that center line, that's when you do the opposite. If you're staying on the same side, we don't do the opposite. So finishing off this problem, we'll have 2x, 10's canceled, negative 14 plus 10 is negative 4. To solve for that x, we'll divide by 2, with the final answer of x equals negative 2. I know those were quick. I know those were fast, and hopefully you've seen them before. However, if you need to, please go back, rewind the video, watch any part individually. But these will become extremely important that we can do these skills not only for when we start solving absolute values, but as we go through the entirety of the year. This solving linear equations is a very, very, very important skill. Please be safe, be well. If you have questions, let me know.